Keep smelling good.
Hello guys, Matt here and welcome to my fragrance obsession. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about a fragrance from the house of Calvin Klein. And this fragrance came out in 2013 and this is a flanker of a very famous fragrance from Calvin Klein from the 1980s. This is a fragrance called Dark Obsession. Now before I review this fragrance, guys, I would just like to say that this fragrance is definitely one that I think deserves a little bit more praise than what it does, because I've looked on base notes and the comments for it aren't exactly good, but they're not exactly bad either. But I think in terms of the society and stuff, I think for a flanker this is not a bad fragrance whatsoever. And usually I'm not a big fan of flankers, but this is a really good example of how I think flankers can really be very good if they're made very good. So we're going to be talking about Dark Obsession. Now, came out in 2013. The perfumer for this fragrance is actually unknown. I could not find at all anywhere online who designed this scent. But this is a nice fragrance. So I'm going to spray a little bit on here. Very good spray. Yeah. So what do you get in this fragrance? Well, we get Brazilian green mandarin in the top, with Guarana and Absinthe. In the middle we get French clary sage, fir balsam and white vetiver. And in the base we get Madagascar vanilla, Labdanum and Suede. So my thoughts on Dark Obsession are really good. I remember the first time I tried this in a department store, and I ended up getting it on that day because I liked it so much. I was always a big fan of the regular Obsession, and the lady who sold me this, because it was new at the time, she told me she said, you know, this is a really this is a very modern fragrance. And you know what? She is really right. Like, she's right down to a T, because the original Obsession was launched in 1986, the original men's fragrance. And I still think that this fragrance has some of the original Obsession's DNA inside it. There was a fragrance that came out, I believe, in 2005 called Calvin Klein Obsession Night, which is a nice fragrance. I've actually reviewed it already, but it does not have that classic sort of Obsession vibe inside it. This one, however, does. It does have that originality to it. I think that this one is almost like, you know, if Calvin Klein had a baby boy and then they brought back this would be it. So this is a very nice fragrance. So in terms of the notes, when I first smell this, I do get a very powdery sort of smell. I don't really get any mandarin. I don't really get any guarana or whatever. I think it's just another word for guava or something. I don't know. Nor do I really get absinthe. Throughout this whole fragrance, I do get a very like leathery, I guess fir balsam, which is also in the middle of this fragrance. I guess that's a correct note to have, because I do get that, and I do get a vetiver note. But the main note that I get in this fragrance is that Madagascar vanilla. Like, it's very powdery, it's quite creamy, and it creates a nice fragrance overall. And also in the note we get Labdanum and Suede. Now Suede is also very detectable in this fragrance. You do get this very dark suede, this kind of musky undertone on top of the fir and the white vetiver. But it's a very nice fragrance. It smells very well blended, apart from the top notes, which I don't really think are very detectable. So I'm on about the Brazilian green mandarin and the guarana, and also the absinthe. I'm guessing the absinthe is what's creating this sort of, a little bit like what the vodka note in Unjara Polar Hom 3 does, where it creates a kind of refreshing sort of clean smell. This one doesn't really have that. It does have a bit of a cleanliness to it, but overall I do think that this is overall a very manly and dark scent. This is a nice fragrance though. I think if you're a fan of another fragrance from Calvin Klein known as CK1 Shock, which is a flanker to the original CK1, you might like this fragrance, because CK1 does have this kind of cinnamon sort of smell to it. This one, I do get that, but I think that this one is a much more darker and a much more deeper fragrance. It's that vanilla, like the vanilla's, you can easily smell the vanilla in this fragrance, but it's just a very nice fragrance, guys, and I would really highly recommend you check it out because it's really good. So guys, right here I have the two other flankers from the house of Calvin Klein. We have Obsession Night, Dark Obsession, and then we also have the original Obsession right here. I think that Calvin Klein have done a very good job with creating the like two flankers for this fragrance, because it's almost like one big family, you know, like think of it as Obsession as the grandfather. Think of I mean, I'm not thinking about when they were launched or anything, because this one was the last one, the Dark Obsession, but think of this one as the grandfather, think of this one as the father, and think of this one as the son. So it's almost like going down in generations, you know, because I like them all. I think they're very different. I think if I had to pick one that I least liked, I would probably say Obsession Night, because it does have this kind of sickly synthetic sort of vibe. It does have notes of pear in there. But when it comes to the original Obsession, man, this is a great scent. It just smells so like rich, very elegant, just classic 1980s, you know. And I think that whenever I smell this one really does have something to offer. I think this is a great scent. It's really, really nice. It's just different, you know, and I think if you're looking for a scent which is pretty cheap and something which does have good longevity, good sillage, and something that does smell very, very pleasant, then I think that this is a great fragrance to go for. So guys, thank you so much for watching my review on Calvin Klein's Dark Obsession. This fragrance came out in 2013, and this is I would call it a herbal leather fragrance. Because it's very, very nice, and I would really highly recommend it because it's so good. So guys, thank you so much for watching my fragrance obsession. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Please let me know what you think of this fragrance, and also guys, let me know what you think of Cacharel's Lulu, which I reviewed in the previous episode. Let me know what you think of that scent, but let me know what you think of Dark Obsession, because I'm really intrigued and I really want to hear what you think of it. So guys, thank you so much for watching, keep smelling good, and bye bye for now.